Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood. Now it's 6:30.
This is News 6 at 6:30, getting results. Thank you for joining us here live on News 6 Plus. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
It's going to be a good one. I'm Matt Austin, meteorologist Jonathan Kagas joining us now, and it's been perfect.
It has.
We can only have that for so long, my
That's
friend.
right. Yeah, some big changes coming out of the pipeline really once we get into Wednesday, but you'll start to notice them tomorrow a little bit as we really crank up our wind out ahead of our next storm system that could bring us a chance for some severe weather, some strong storms on Wednesday. That's the outlook from the Storm Prediction Center there. The yellow indicates a level 2 out of 5. That's mainly into Georgia and points north. We are in the 1 out of 5. The higher the number, the more widespread that severe weather could be, the more intense the severe weather could be. So we're in the marginal risk area. Would not be surprised, though, if that starts to tick up as we get closer to the event on Wednesday. So stay tuned again as we get a better sampling, a better idea of what our environment is going to be here as those storms start to move through late in the morning on Wednesday. 74 in Groveland. We're at 71 degrees in Kissimmee, mid to upper 60s in Palm Coast. We're at 67 degrees in Daytona Beach. Gorgeous tonight. Again, you might notice that breeze starting to tick up just a little bit this evening, back to the mid-60s by 9, lower 60s by 11, staying in the 60s virtually through the overnight hours and when you wake up tomorrow. We're going to talk about the timeline of that front and when those storms could turn strong, guys, coming up at about 6:47.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, the trial for a man arrested after a hit and run left 2 people dead is underway.
Michael Kraft Jr. is accused of hitting a motorcyclist in Sanford and then turning around to hit them again, along with a woman who had stopped to help. News 6 reporter Catherine Silver was inside the courtroom as jury selection began.
May I safely assume that will have no effect if you're selected as a juror in this case?
The trial itself is expected to last all week as we get a look at the evidence prosecutors say they have against Michael Kraft and his attorney's explanation for what happened back in 2021. Sanford police say Kraft hit 73-year-old Vincent Russo as he was riding his motorcycle near State Road 46 and Summerlin Avenue. An arrest report for Kraft said he made a U-turn and returned to the crash scene where he struck 39-year-old Jenica Campbell, who was trying to help Russo.
She loved Disney, she loved the beach, she loved life and lived it to the fullest with a Southern charm.
At first, officers didn't realize Kraft was involved in 2 crashes. They spoke with witnesses who connected him to both incidents. That testimony is expected to be part of prosecutors' case this week, along with other evidence that Kraft was reportedly under the influence.
Because of his negligence on a number of levels, we're sitting here mourning the loss of 2 individuals.
Police said Kraft was lethargic and his eyes were bloodshot, and a test later determined he was under the influence of a stimulant. According to the report, Kraft told officers he was being chased by another vehicle at the time and was trying to get away. Kraft has pleaded not guilty to 6 counts. He faces charges of DUI manslaughter, vehicular homicide, and leaving the scene of a crash. In Seminole County, I'm Catherine Silver, getting results, News 6.
4 people are dead after a Saturday night crash, including a Windermere High School senior set to attend Duke University. News 6 is learning the teen and another young man were members of the Orlando Islamic community.
Our reporter Stephanie Rodriguez was there as those who knew the pair mourned the loss.
Everybody is feeling a big loss right now.
Imam Tariq Rashid says the Islamic Center of Orlando is one big family, and on Monday they said goodbye to one of their most devout members.
A brilliant kid, good in studies, good in sports, and was a gentleman.
Florida Highway Patrol confirms Windermere High Schooler Sammy Lahik was one of 4 people who died in a crash on Saturday. Rashid says the senior was very involved in the mosque, and it was the last place he visited just 15 minutes before the accident.
So he prayed here for 2 hours with us, and I'm told that him and with 2 of his friends were going to play soccer. So they were driving to that soccer field when they met this accident.
Lahik and another member of the Islamic community, Moad Machi, were in a car that FHP says collided with a BMW that tried to get in front of them on Central Florida Parkway. Investigators say both cars were speeding and crashed into each other, causing both to hit several trees. The 2 people in the BMW died from their injuries. Rashid says the 20-year-old driver of the Toyota is physically doing better, but struggling with the death of his friends.
He's so much in a shock that he's not even talking to anybody. He's not leaving his own prison. he's in a state of complete shock.
A woman who knew Machti told me off camera he was a caring person who will be deeply missed.
He was just a good friend and a good family member, and also a very good Muslim.
The mosque plans to send Machti off in the same way as Lahik, as both were very committed to their faith.
They had a strong attachment to the mosque, which nowadays, no matter which religion you belong to, we see that the youth are drifting away from faith. But I see that these two were very much attached with the mosque.
In Orlando, Stephanie Rodriguez, Getting Results, News 6.
All right, let's take a look at what's trending right now on Central Florida's #1 news website. You know the name, it's clickorlando.com. A number of passengers were left hanging when Silver Airways all of a sudden canceled all the flights over the weekend at Orlando International Airport. The airline, while small, is used by thousands of Floridians to take those short flights across the Sunshine State, maybe Orlando to Pensacola, Miami to Jacksonville, if you want a cheap option to avoid driving.
Okay, so Silver filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in December, but said operations will continue as usual. Now, News 6 spoke with a traveler who showed up early Monday to find no one at the check-in counter to answer questions. You can find her thoughts, and she had them at clickorlando.com. I can't even imagine what you would do, what a lurch that would put you in.
How does that work, that you just don't even have somebody there to reschedule a flight or book with another airline?
Or
How is
tell
that
them that
legal?
you're no longer operating. I don't think
that could have been handled significantly better. Here are some of the other trending stories right now over at clickorlando.com. City of Orlando now accepting design proposals for a permanent Pulse Memorial. There are some standards that designs will have to follow. Those details and how to submit all at clickorlando.com.
And a Hulu live stream of the Oscars sounds great unless the stream cuts off in the final moments of the show, you know, right before the big announcement, what everyone's waiting for. And you miss who got Best Actress, Best Picture. What a disappointment over that live streaming. It's being shared at clickorlando.com, including some people who missed a musical intro from the stars of Wicked. And I did not tune into this last night, but I would have tuned in for that because I've seen it since.
Yeah.
And if you cut me off when Cynthia Erivo is singing and Ariana Grande delivering that, I'm driving to Hulu headquarters.
There you go. Yeah. There was a same kerfuffle the one time our live stream froze up going into the C block, and people were calling in about that as well.
Upset.
That was a bigger deal probably. But when going from homeless to employed, it helps to have a helping hand. One young man says a nonprofit in Orlando made all the difference to get him back on the right track. First, though, it'll be a busy legislative session for the state of Florida. Well, at least that's what News 6 political analyst Jim Clark seems to think. He shares his thoughts next.
You're watching News 6 at 6:30, live on News 6 Plus. We hope you still see us. We're getting results in Pine Hills, Merritt Island, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, welcome back. This is a live look now at our Launch Credit Union camera out at Port Canaveral. It's a fitting end to what was a beautiful day. That's kind of nice out there right now.
It's a good looking sunset. Jonathan Kagas, our meteorologist. We've had such a nice run the past 4 days or so. It's been absolutely ideal, but we know this is Florida.
That's right.
Change gonna
Just
come.
wait 10 minutes.
It is March. It's when the weather starts to get a little wacky across the country. We start to get these bigger cold fronts coming through, trying to find what season we're in, winter or spring.
Yeah.
That fight is underway right now. And I want to show you this water vapor imagery. This is going to tell the story here. We're looking at about 15 to 20,000 feet above your head with the different moisture content in the atmosphere. We can see the motion of the atmosphere. So this is our big upper level low. You see that spiral right there, that counterclockwise spiral. It's eventually going to eject out of the Four Corners region and create a big time strong low at the surface. And that is going to help to get going a really large storm system, blizzard conditions in the plains. We're talking severe weather outbreak potential in parts of the deep south. Eventually, that line of thunderstorms starts to slide through central Florida. It will be weaker than what you're going to see tomorrow in the deep south, but nonetheless, we will have the risk for severe weather ourselves Wednesday afternoon. So there's 3 o'clock, potential for some strong tornadoes as well in parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, into Arkansas. Again, that is for our friends in the deep south, not for us, although we will have the chance for a few strong storms as well. There's 7, 8 o'clock on your Wednesday morning, a few strong storms sliding through the Big Bend and Panhandle of Florida. And then by the time we get towards the lunchtime hour, give or take, a few strong thunderstorms start to enter parts of north central Florida as well. Now, in terms of the hazards coming our way from this, lightning and hail, I think, are the two big ones here. There's going to be the chance for some damaging wind gusts as well as that line comes through. Again, this is going to be Wednesday afternoon through the early evening. Heavy rain going to be embedded in the cells, although the flood risk is pretty much going to be non-existent. These are going to be flying right on through central Florida. Tornado threat is low. It's non-zero, so we're going to be watching that closely as that line slides through. Another look here, gorgeous shot at Port Canaveral. Temperatures now around 70 degrees with our Launch Credit Union camera. We're back to the clear skies, and we will keep skies mainly clear tonight. Hanging around 70 in Ocala, mid-60s in Palm Coast, 67 degrees in Daytona Beach at this hour. Now here's a look at tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
We're going to start things around 60 degrees tomorrow. We'll see a few passing clouds out there. Rain chances bump up a little bit for the afternoon to about 10 to 20%. We're shifting our winds to a southeasterly component. It's going to pump in some extra moisture. It's going to help to generate a few showers. Still, most of us are dry tomorrow with temperatures getting back to the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. But you will notice the breeze start to increase tomorrow. 20 to 25 mile per hour wind gusts. Wednesday, the day that nasty weather is on the way, 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts, and that's without the storms going on. When you do get caught under one of those storms, those gusts go up a little bit. Could have 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts embedded in those storms. Again, that's what we're watching for, the potential for a few strong storms. 70% shot for storms again on Wednesday. Then we chill down behind the system back to the upper 60s for highs. Guys, we start things off in the 40s on Friday morning.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. We are hitting the road in Oviedo. If you live or work in that community, let us know what makes it so special. Do you have concerns that you want us to look into? Head to clickorlando.com/hitstheroad to share your story. Well, Florida's annual legislative session begins tomorrow. Your elected officials in the House and Senate getting together in Tallahassee right now. The legislature's main purpose, of course, create new laws and to change or repeal existing laws.
Yeah, from proposals to ban fluoride in our water to changing maps to reflect the Gulf of America. News 6's Laverne McGee spoke with our political analyst to find out more about the key bills.
They are going to replicate everything that Donald Trump is doing in Washington.
The next 60 days will determine which laws get passed. There's a Republican supermajority, so it's expected they'll get what they want. Just as they were able to approve $500 million in a special session on illegal immigration a couple of weeks ago. During this session, some items stand out, like affordable housing. A bill has been filed that would allow local governments to designate properties for single-family homeownership, which would limit the ability of investors to buy houses and use them as rentals.
The problem is money, and how much money do you appropriate? They passed legislation to help people get new roofs, but quickly they went through the money. Clearly, immigration is a higher standard for the legislature than home affordability.
Then there's Florida's ongoing property insurance crisis. The cost has become so high, some people have lost their homes, and some condo owners are at risk of losing their homes after the Surfside condo collapse laws drove up their HOA costs.
So you don't see any bills that will offer relief for condo owners at risk of?
No, there's just nothing in the pipeline.
So what are the bills for? Just to enforce?
Yeah, mostly to enforce.
Then there's what's dubbed as the Florida Farm Bill. It would eliminate fluoride from public water supplies statewide.
In the past, fluoride in the water has been left to the cities. So some have said, no, we want to keep fluoride. Others have said, let's get rid of it. But now this is a power play by Tallahassee to say, we'll decide what goes in your water.
And then there's the Florida bill that would require schools to recognize Gulf of Mexico as Gulf of America and also throw out all Florida statutes.
Primarily, the legislature is going to deal with issues that Donald Trump is interested in. The Gulf of America, so that school children will all be taught Gulf of America.
Laverne McGee, Getting Results, News 6.
There's a lot to discuss. As we sit here and wait for Starship, the window opened at 6:30, and Starship was supposed to take another test flight.
That's right. They were holding at 40 seconds. Something was happening with a rocket booster that they didn't like the look of, but then we heard it was going to start back up again. And do we have that live shot?
15 seconds we were waiting, but
I don't know.
They're having some technical
We don't have a live
difficulties.
shot. Apparently, not only is their booster not working, but our camera out there
It's not
having
working
issues
either.
as well.
All
We're
right.
going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Coming up in the morning, keeping people moving around one part of Central Florida for free.
Yeah, the city's set to decide if a special shuttle service will continue, even if it comes with a big price tag for taxpayers.
Plus, your pinpoint weather and traffic every 10 minutes. We'll see you for News 6 mornings 5 to 7.
Well, you know, we hear it so often how many people are one financial crisis away from becoming homeless. And there are several reasons why someone may suddenly lose their home, whether it's an unexpected hospital bill or getting laid off.
Yeah, but thankfully, here in Central Florida, we have resources that get results for people in that very situation. News 6's Emily McLeod spoke to a young man who found himself homeless, but let his sense of purpose bring him to where he is today.
This is Jakari Wilson. Back in 2022, he was working as an accountant in Tampa when he got laid off.
Unfortunately, I was not really ready for the unexpected circumstance of getting laid off.
To keep a roof over his head, he initially got a job as a customer service representative doing business-to-business sales.
And I was legit working 80-hour weeks to try to make ends meet.
But it wasn't enough. Wilson was sent an eviction notice.
I ended up, losing my apartment, losing my car, and I was completely homeless.
Wilson bounced around a little bit in Tampa and South Florida. He ended up in Orlando, where he still didn't have a place to call home, but new opportunities came knocking at Pathlight Home. Pathlight offers a number of services, including housing, employment services, and career training.
I was blessed, honestly, blessed and grateful for the opportunity to be able to come inside, use the resources that they have available, the computers, be able to work on my resume, tweak my cover letter, and take some of the critique or advice that they have in order to be able to help make sure that I can, again, land a successful interview and hopefully land that successful visit.
Wilson says he was able to sharpen his interview skills and eventually land an accounting position at the Coalition for the Homeless of Central Florida. He now has a home and recently bought himself a new car.
It allowed me to reintegrate into society, and that's what these resources are meant for. Not to just take advantage of, not to this and that and the other. It's meant to always be a benefit to people that are less fortunate.
In Orange County, Emily McLeod, Getting Results, News 6.
Now, if you think of the ripple effect that a story like that has, he goes from homeless to being an amazing contributing member of society. He's going to have babies who do the same.
I know.
It's going to be good stuff.
And that's what people want, and they just need a chance sometimes, So good for him. Really happy for him. Well, only on 6 tonight, an Orange County community struggling just to keep themselves safe.
Yeah, drug deals and break-ins keep happening, and all they're asking for is to get their security gates fixed once and for all. They're turning to News 6 anchor Eric Von Anken to try to get results.
Eric is at Starlight Ranch, a huge mobile home park off Pershing Avenue near South Cimarron.
It was a year ago, in fact, almost to the day, that I first told you about this place, Starlight Ranch, when a bunch of neighbors who live here came to me because they were so fed up with the ongoing crime here and lack of security, they wanted to start their own neighborhood watch group. Well, ultimately, this failed. Security didn't improve, and so crime continued. The biggest frustration here has been the gates at the entrance and exit to this mobile home park. They haven't worked consistently for months. Gates that are supposed to be keeping out the crooks. And you can see today, this one still isn't down.
My name is Luis Melendez, and I reached out to you because I'm the one that started the neighborhood watch here at Starlight Ranch.
You and I have been in touch since the past year, since we first did that story. The crime has continued.
The crime has continued. We've had house break-ins. We have drug activity. We've had shootings. What else?
And Luis, you believe the answer to a lot of this would just be closing the gates.
Correct. Having some sort of secure entrance.
And you tried to get results on your own.
Yes, I did.
What happened?
I hit closed doors.
So I got involved with management here at Starlight Ranch. I started emailing them back in October when they first told me their projected completion date for both the front and the back was November 1st. Then in November, they told me they were shooting for December. Then we talked again in January. We got results. This is the back gate. You can see it is heavy duty and it is working.
You got the back gate working for me, and I appreciate that quite a bit.
And the front gate also works, some of the time. Luis told me, and management confirmed this, that they leave the gate up even when it's working all day long. They don't close it until 6 o'clock at night, mostly for convenience, because they say there is so much traffic here. There's deliveries, and because this is aluminum. drivers smash into it all the time, breaking the gate arm. So now I'm asking management if they can get results with this thing, maybe come up with a better solution, maybe like the one they have at the back gate. Of course, we'll be on top of it as always. For now, getting results in South Orange County, Eric Von Anken, News 6.
I saw Eric out there, and they're working on a plan right now.
Yes.
I can guarantee.
I would
they don't
imagine.
want to see him out there.
Yeah,
again.
they'd like him to stay far away from their community. Thank you for watching News 6 at 6:30. Stream News 6 online anytime on our News 6 Plus Smart TV
And we
app.
break news on clickorlando.com. See you again tonight at 11. Bye.